The French Open, the second Grand Slam of the 2023 season, begins on May 20. This season's French Open is going to miss one of its biggest stars. The 14-time champion Rafael Nadal is not going to play in Paris this year.
Que no voy a estar en Roland Garros, que no voy a jugar durante una serie de meses y mi intención, no soy muy fan de predecir el futuro como sabéis los que me conocéis y me habéis seguido, porque las cosas no sabes cómo pueden salir, pero mi intención es que el año que viene sea mi último año y poder jugar los torneos que me apetezcan para poder despedirme de los torneos que han marcado me han marcado deportivamente hablando durante todos estos años.
So in absence of Nadal, let's have a look at who are the favorites for this year's French Open on the men's side, and we'll also have a look on who are the favorites for the women's title. Starting with men, Novak Djokovic is the overwhelming favorite for the title this year. Djokovic enters this year's French Open without a title on clay and has had some issues with his elbow. But when it comes to the big stage, the Serbian has the game and the mentality to go for the kill. Apart from current world number 84, Stan Wawrinka, Novak Djokovic is the only other former champion in this year's field on the men's side. And the Serbian has the motivation to go ahead of Nadal in the Grand Slam race. Currently, the duo is tied on 22, but with this year's French Open, Novak could become the most decorated Grand Slam winner on the men's side. Also on the men's side, Carlos Alcaraz will be a big favorite. Alcaraz is the top seed and the world number 1. He has been the best player on clay this year. He won titles in Buenos Aires, Barcelona and Madrid. He had a shock exit in Rome where he lost to Hungarian qualifier Fabian Marzan, but that should be a big concern for the Spaniard. However, in the best of 5 sets, the style with which Alcaraz plays could put him in a spot of bother because the sort of energy is tough to sustain. The energy with which the Spaniard plays is tough to sustain in a best of 5 match on clay. And he experienced that last year also when he was in a spot of bother in the first round against Albert Ramos Viñolas and eventually lost to Alexander Zverev in the quarterfinals. Another favorite for this year's title on the men's side is Stefanos Tsitsipas. I know Tsitsipas hasn't won a title this year on any surface, but the Greek, who is the world number 5, is a big match player and a big tournament player. He reached the final in Barcelona, losing to Alcaraz. And an aspect of his game which often puts him in trouble is his one-handed backhand. But on clay, he has the time to cover that aspect because the opponents simply can't rush him. So that puts him in a strong position, and he has reached the French Open final before and he can do it again. And lastly, on the men's side, Holger Rune is a player to watch out for. Apart from Alcaraz, Holger Rune is the player who has improved immensely in the last year and a half. The Danish player has won back-to-back titles in Munich. He also reached the final in Monte Carlo and has had a very successful run in Rome, which includes victory over Djokovic. On the women's side, 2-time champion Iga Swiatek will be the overwhelming favorite. The world number 1 successfully defended her title in Stuttgart. She also reached the Madrid Open final. There was a slight injury concern regarding Swiatek as she was forced to retire from her quarterfinal in Rome against Rybakina, but the world number 1 said that she is fine and she is fit to compete in French Open. Other than Swiatek, on the women's side, Aryna Sabalenka is a big favorite for the title. Sabalenka lost to Swiatek in the Stuttgart Open final, but then got her revenge by beating the Pole in the Madrid Open final. One thing that troubled Sabalenka last year was her serve. She was committing a lot of double faults, but this year she has sorted that issue and she has been the best player on the tour. So with her powerful game, she can just outplay her opponents very easily. Another player to keep an eye on the women's side, who is a big contender for the title, is Elena Rybakina. Rybakina reached the Australian Open final this year. She is a reigning Wimbledon champion. So she has sort of mastered the two surfaces, but she has also shown that she can be a big force on clay with her recent run in Rome. Rybakina has one of the most lethal serves on the WTA tour. Her serve is so accurate that it allows her to win a lot of free points, which can be a big headache for her opponents. And lastly, on the women's side, somebody who is her title favorite is Ons Jabeur. Ons Jabeur hasn't played since Stuttgart. She won the title in Charleston earlier this year. In Stuttgart, she had an injury during a match against Swiatek and she was forced to retire. So she hasn't had much match practice since then. But if anyone on the women's side has the game for clay, it is the Tunisian. Ons Jabeur has one of the most gorgeous drop shots on the women's tour, and it's very tough to anticipate. So this is it for the favorites for this year's French Open title. In case you think that I have missed a player that you think is the favorite for this year's French Open title, do let us know in the comments section, and do follow Sportstar's coverage of this year's French Open title.